Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahus samad. لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. أشهد أن لا إله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. All praises be to Allah, Lord, sustainer of the worlds, and all praises be to His Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum to those who are Muslims around the world and in America. And may peace and blessings from Allah be upon you to those who are non-Muslims all around the world and in America. Now, I want to say this. This will be the first piece of what I want to talk about. It's been 100 years since the massacre in Tulsa. I didn't even know that until about a few hours ago. I didn't know that, and I watched every reported thing about it, but it was 3 days. 3 days that took place on the third day, but the massacre part took place on the third day. The first thing that happened, and this is what it was documented. She said she didn't want. What happened was a brother and a white girl, a young white lady about 17, and the brother was 19. They went into well, she was already in the elevator. I guess she was one of the conductors of it. I have no idea about that. But he entered in the elevator, door closed. Whatever happened, she screamed and ran out of there. Now, this is where everything gets messed up. Some people say that he raped her. Some people say he just fell upon her, like accidentally tripped over her and stepped on her foot. However it happened, it didn't sound like none of that. The report that what was said sounded like he raped her. Sounded like there was a good relationship. But back then in 1921, you couldn't be in a relationship with a black person. No white person could be in a relationship with a black male. Now, black ladies, we both know back in 1912 or 1921, 1930s, 1940s, pretty much until the 50s, white males could, have their little cordials with a white lady or with a black lady. Now, but back then, there was none of that. A white woman could not do that with a black man. So he was arrested. And the black men, well, there was a good group of them, came up to the cell, up to the jailhouse where he was housed at, and like, we're going to protect him, and was asking for the police because they didn't really have, like they have now. They didn't really have that, but they're shooting black people like discriminatory every second of every year. Now that's not cool. But back then it was a little different. So the KKKs, I guess in Oklahoma, they have their own little KKK BS out there. Even to this day they do. But they rounded up some white boys. They came out there and shots were fired. White boy tried to disarm a black man. And I guess the way the white people felt back then is the same way they feel now. You ain't gonna do that with me. You can't say, "Oh, this is my weapon. I'm legally to have this," and the white person is not gonna feel that way. White person will feel very dishonorable that you disrespected him, that you didn't give him the weapon, or that you didn't step off his property, even though nobody really owns property in America. But nevertheless, even if you bought the land, you still don't own it. That's everybody should read their constitution, but nevertheless, um, because they can foreclose, the banks can foreclose on it, still on that land, and take that stuff away from you. But nevertheless, so whatever happened from there, shots were fired. I guess a young white boy got killed, an innocent bystander, I think. So what the reports were, the innocent young bystander got killed. And then the burning and dismemberment of people. 3,000 people got killed. 3,000. Yeah. So that was the story. Now leading up to today. The brother just spoke on another thing. Somebody on the internet have their own little internet, I guess, show or page, and he was speaking on a lady who got shot. I don't know if it was a couple years ago, a week ago, somewhat, whatever. She, I guess, in the hospital now, or probably free at home. Her name is Sasha, and she got shot in the head. I guess I think that's what he said. She got shot in the head. Now she do have kids, and my prayers go out to her and her family, whether she's out or not. But it is very dishonorable for people to really listen to what police may say. What was said that a guy walked over, stabbed one dude, and started shooting random people. And she's the only one who got shot. So if you're shooting randomly at a crowd of people and only one person gets hit, nobody else, and you shot randomly, meaning your shots wasn't actually just pointed at anybody or just firing. And only one person get hit, one person, he gets hit. One person gets hit. That wasn't random. It was a articulated shot. The person came in with a purpose, assassin, eliminated that person, and yeah, and walked away. So they arrested 5 people. One person was arrested, I guess, over drug issues. They all got arrested for drug issues. Some got arrested for gun issues. But if they can actually pinpoint or say it was a fictitious gun, however, I don't know. But the claim that I was saying was that you shoot randomly. This is what they said. They shot randomly, but only one person got hit. You shooting random. That means if I took let's say an AK-47 and I was shooting randomly, but only one person got hit. I'm in a crowd of people, and I'm shooting at them, but only one person got hit. Come on. It was an assassin. That was an assassination. It wasn't an actual, just one of the run-of-the-mill black folks that just felt like just shooting. That's the same thing they did with Malcolm X. The same thing they did with Malcolm X. I'm not going to say Martin Luther King because they already knew who shot him. They already got him, even though it was a white boy, and the government sent that head out for him. But like I said, every last one of everybody who got killed was a white person. I mean, not technically a white person. Black people can be bribed, paid off, and can be sent out for murder for that type of killing instinct, I guess, that they have. When you shoot somebody, I'm just gonna put this out there because I've done it. When you shoot somebody, one of the instincts that you have is to either throw up, be hella nervous, and hella sick to your stomach. You may not throw up right then and there, but you will be sick. And like if you start shooting, if you shoot somebody, that image of that person's burned into your brain. It is not like your first shot. The first person you kill is not going to be literally eliminated from you. The first person. That's why I say I like using knives. Me personally, I love knives because knives is is not quick. You ain't gonna die as fast as when you get shot. Or knives is quiet, not like a gun. You can put a silencer on it, but you're only muffling the outburst of it. You're not muffling the big bang. You're only muffling the outburst of it. So there's not really much you could do with it. So if you really don't believe that, check a lot on TV. They have a lot of stuff on muffling sounds on the internet. Check it out. You're not gonna really muffle the sound of it. Only to within that house, maybe outside of that house. But other than that, you ain't really muffling the sound. You ain't hearing it like you see on TV where it goes doo doo doo, and that's it. It's only that little small shot. No, when you put a muffler on it, you're only muffling that sound for maybe that apartment or house that you're entering in. But she was killed. Well, not killed. We don't know. I don't know if she's dead yet, but that is what happened. Now, the massacre that happened in 1921. It was 3 days. Actually, took 3 days. From 5 to 11, they burnt the city. That little piece of land that Black Wall Street was on, they burnt it straight to the ground. Killed 300 black folks. And what was said in some newspaper clippings that they showed was that 2 white boys got killed. 2 white boys out of 300 black folks. 2 white boys got hurt. Now there was years prior to that, there was another one, and I think it was 1919, a couple years prior. There was another one, but it wasn't in Oklahoma. I I watched that what happened, and that was another good one to be seen. During after literally after the civil unrest we had in America, where the South went against the Union. That was way back when, and way back when I don't know what it was called, but the Confederates went against the Union. Their little fight and war all for money. That's what it was all over. It wasn't about freeing the slaves. It was about money. That's really what it was about. They swept what really actually was going on back then under the rug and kept it quiet. But most everybody that really knows the story knows actually what happened. I'm not gonna go into full out details, not on this one, not right now. But if you kill somebody, that thought lingers in your head, and then you kill another person, then you kill another person. That those unless you're bred to hate a certain people, unless you're bred to hate a certain color of people, unless you're bred to hate uh, this type of person, you ain't gonna feel nothing if you kill that person. You ain't gonna feel nothing. Um, you ain't gonna feel anything if you kill them. That's why I always say, peace before war. You should have at least a good talk with the people that you're about to go to war with. You should have at least try to have a peace talk. At least try before all full blast, guns on and stuff like that. Some people say that Israel will attack America. Now, to those people, Israel ain't got enough guns in the world to attack America. Hell, they may have a good army that's only for Palestine. They may have a good army. I'm not going to say that. But you ain't got an army like America. That's one thing that America has upon the rest of the world. Ain't nobody has an army like America. Can't nobody have ships like America. Ain't nobody got planes like America. And ain't nobody got that. And then besides the army, we got the National Guard. Now, this is the thing about the massacre. That was before 1921. It was 1912 in America because they dropped bombs in Oklahoma. They dropped bombs in Tucson. And that was crazy. They dropped bombs in America, killing American citizens in America. The National Guard came through, just like in 1912. They came through and they were shooting people on randomly. Black folks, though. They wasn't killing no white boys out there. No, they was killing black folks. And they dropped bombs. And then in the 1921, the massacre in Tucson, that was the most craziest one because not the army didn't do anything, but the police and a few other people, they went in and they slaughtered black folks. That was the most craziest one. And they just got ordered to open up to go into one of the graveyards and break ground and dug up bodies. No, they talking about it's gonna be a minute before we can actually identify them. That's good. That's real good. Y'all actually uncovering the darkness of America, the stupidity that people has done over the years. Y'all finally uncovering them, finally getting them. Well, the reason why I keep looking to my side is because I'm looking at my phone. I have it on silence, so it won't make no noise. And every few minutes you hear that, I'll hear a little buzz, and I'll look over. My phone just pinged, and something's been shown. But nevertheless, you got to think of stuff. You got to think of the way people are. It's the way they're gonna be shown. The way people are is the way they're gonna be seen. The way people are is you gotta like I said, the way people are, you gotta look at it. Look at the way they move, the way they act. If you see the way they act in this fictitious, then you know that person's being fake. That's not the real them. People want to see the real you. In life, if you see the real person, you ain't gonna like the realness in people. You ain't gonna like the way people really are, the way they really act, the way they really conduct themselves. You ain't gonna like it. I don't care who you are, how old you are, or how young you may be. You ain't gonna like the way people really are. See, back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, hell, even the 70s, they showed the white people there showed, well, down there in the South, showed you really who they were. Here in California, not really. They don't. They in certain places they do, but they don't really. They may have a hatred for blacks, but they won't show it. I know in Stockton, California, East Side used to be totally racist. Then blacks moved in, whites, Mexicans moved in, Asians moved in, and then the white people there start backing off. And it's racist out here too. I mean, don't believe the media is literally actually racist out here in California. You got places out here. Hell, look at L.A. That's why the Bloods and Crips was started. Bloods and Crips both was actually start to protect their hood. Bloods was started to protect their hoods from the Crips. Literally wasn't called, actually wasn't a gang, became a gang later on in life, but they're both protected their hoods. Crips was actually started to protect their hoods from the white boys. They got a little too big for their britches. Bloods was started to protect their hoods from them, and they got a little bit dysfunctional, and shit start happening. It happens. It happens all the time. You can't. People cannot expect much. They didn't start shooting until later on in life, until like the 1980s or late 90s, 1970s, early 80s, when the drugs start coming out, being pushed in America. That's when Tookie fell. That's when all the big heads of Bloods fell and the big heads of Crips fell. Was in the late 70s, early 80s, and so on and so forth. The Black Panthers was created in the 60s. From late, I think it was 1965 or something like that. And then they fell. They popped back up years later, but they fell then. I mean, they were still pushing smaller functional groups, but you know, they the government moved in on the Black Panthers. They moved in, moved pieces into the Black Panthers that, like me, I've learned from reading about the Black Panthers. I've learned from reading Martin Luther King. I've learned from Malcolm X. I've learned from everyone. Don't trust too many people. I don't trust not too many people. I don't. I'll trust my Muslim brothers, but I still function in having a small group. I don't trust my own family because family could get you killed. Having your sister, your brother, people near you can get you killed. So I really don't function around that area. I don't like being around family or anybody really that matter. If I could just be by myself, I would. If I was allowed to be by myself, I would. But unfortunately, I'm not. So that's why I'm doing these. Do these videos to help people. Now we're moving on into the little piece I like to call insanity. People have mental health issues. A lot of people, especially nowadays, a lot of people, especially since the coronavirus hit and a lot of things has happened. COVID-19 was mostly the deadliest one we've seen so far. Well, I mean, not the deadliest because hell, we have stuff to combat it now. It took them a minute, but we got some stuff to combat it. They're expecting everybody. If you're about to get on the plane, they expect you to take your coronavirus. You got to take that vaccine because you couldn't get on the plane without it. If you want more money from the government, you got to get your vaccine. They're giving out money to get vaccines. I understand that, but they is. Um, but there are people who say, no, I don't want it. I don't want nothing from the government that can potentially kill me, or they can potentially stuff crap into you. They could stuff a whole bunch of stuff, a little microchip, a little something, whatever. They could potentially put whatever they want inside you to kill you, to eliminate you, especially if you're a big figurehead, if you speak about the police, if you out there pushing, like you see the Black Power the movement that's rolling around, the BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, if you see that, they can honestly harm you in ways that you can never think of. I mean, I think of different ways, but they can harm you in ways you never think of. That's what I'm saying. Those type of things are different. People can literally harm you and you'll never notice. People can literally do that. And it's crazy because no matter what you do, how you try to change it, it can happen. America is going through a change right now. America has gone through a change when we saw gay rights being pushed. America is going through a change at this exact moment with the whites and the blacks going against each other. They got the police on their side. We have nobody technically. We got, and I hate to say it, Reverend Jesse Jackson. We got his white boy loving ass on our side. He only comes out when there's a need for money. He ain't coming out for the black family that I don't know if certain people got killed. He ain't coming out for that. He comes out when there's a need. When the government feels we cannot have this right now, they'll push him out. And most of the time he talks a good talk. But can you back that talk? Can you push what you're saying you're going to push? If you're saying you're going to push it to the point of saying that uh no peace, no justice. Okay, if you're saying no peace, no justice, if there's no peace, there's no justice, no peace. That's really actually the saying of it. If there's no justice, no peace. Okay, then push it all the way. Don't just say if there's no justice, no peace, and then as soon as something happens, you stop. If you're going to just push it all the way. Go all the way to it to the last bit in, and then see what happens. Don't just because something happened like George Floyd, the police that shot him. Oh, and technically he didn't get shot. The police that killed him though, he did get killed. Push it all the way. Don't destroy businesses. Don't I understand just like one of the ladies that had her little talk, she spoke good on it. Don't do no harm. Do no harm to those who ain't trying to harm you. I don't care how people feel or what they may say. Do no harm. If you're going to go all the way, then go all the way with it, but do no harm. I mean, do nothing. Don't hurt people that ain't got nothing to do with what you're going through. Don't hurt nobody because then what kind of person would that make you? If you harm somebody who ain't got nothing to do with why you're angry, then what would that make you? Now I understand them attacking the police station. I understand them setting that mother lover on fire. I get all that because the police did something to you. And now if a white boy was to kill a black man, I understand him rioting on the white boy and, and destroying his home and his businesses and everything that got to do with him. But don't go after those who have not done anything to you. If you wage war on a certain person because they wage war against you, then go ahead. Enemy combatants, what they mean by enemies is those who took arms against you, took up arms against you, whether it was a weapon, a gun, a knife, whatever. If they took up arms against you, you take up arms against them. If they did nothing to you, there's white people I know that are good people. They did nothing to you, then don't do nothing to them. I mean, hell. Don't harm them at all. Don't harm businesses that ain't had nothing to do with what you're doing. I understand. I see it all the time. Black folks, when we get upset, we like to destroy shit. Now, yes, the lady in that video was right. She did say some things. She said, "You better be glad we ain't really trying to seek revenge, because if we were seeking revenge, the whole America would be on fire right now." But we're not. And it would make us look like the enemy. You know how the press would turn around, make us look like the bad people. And if we act up, if we pretty much act stupid, we will be the bad people. You have to march in peace unless there is no peace giving. The police is doing, you see it every now and then. They will put one of their own on trial. Firstly, they will fire them, so they'll be no longer how they do it, how they see it. Well, okay, we're going to give you what you want. We're going to fire this person so he could go to trial. Because if he don't go to trial, if he don't get found guilty, he is he is part of the police. So then that means he won't get found guilty. He won't go to trial. And even if he do go to trial, they will find him not guilty. Now, I kept hearing this since January 6th, when they ransacked the state capitol. Oh, they're gonna do it for a couple more days. Don't be out. Don't be a black person. Be out. So you know what I did? I was a black person out on the streets in black, walking the streets. Why? Because I'm not scared. Firstly, I knew nothing was gonna happen. Thirdly, was nothing gonna happen. And secondly, there was nothing gonna happen. You see, when people say shit out loud, they don't really mean what they say. When they don't say nothing and they do it, then they meant what they said. There's a difference. Those who actually do it without saying it, and then those who will say it and without doing it. Those are the two difference. Like if I tell you I'm gonna go blow up a family right now, I'm gonna blow them up, and I don't do it, then that means I'm just saying it. I'm not doing it. But if I go blow up a family and I didn't say it, then that means I did it without saying it. That's just like me. I tell everybody all the time, I don't know how to speak to a woman. I can't talk to a woman straight up, like without me actually knowing her. I couldn't meet a woman and actually be talking to her officially, just like face to face. Like, nah, I couldn't do it because there's something in me that wouldn't allow it. I don't know how I got that scary, but I did. I have gotten that pussified. I couldn't talk to a woman even if my life depended on it. I really wouldn't been able to talk. If a guy was holding the gun up to my head, there would have been no way I would have been able to talk to a woman. He would have had to blow my brains out because there's no way I can actually talk to a woman. It wouldn't matter what color, creed, or religion, race you are. I wouldn't be able to do that. Muslim women, I talk to them, but I have to downcast my eyes because I couldn't. If it's a woman, I know she's a woman. It's very hard for me to speak. When I'm on the phone talking to, I have like 4 or 5 psych doctors that I speak to. Yeah, I'm really am that crazy. I have 4 or 5 psych doctors I talk to. One of them is a woman. Yeah, one of them is a woman. I don't know. The rest is all dudes, but one of them is a woman. And I barely talk to her. I talk to her about my problems. I talk to her about certain things, but I could barely talk to her because of the fact that, she's a woman. She's a woman. It wouldn't matter if she's married or not. She's a woman. And that is hard for me to do. Very hard for me to do. I couldn't do it. It's like someone something is telling me not to do it. Don't go far. Don't talk to this person like this because I can't do it. It's, I'm very fidgety. I look around. I be rubbing my head a lot. When I'm nervous, I rub my head a lot, or I'll look down and play with my hands. Be moving a lot when I'm very nervous. Um, so that would be a telltale sign that yeah, this he's nervous about what he's doing. He's highly nervous about what he's doing. And and the reason why I named this episode "Sorry" is because I am actually sorry for all the stuff that is happening to people right now, or has happened to them, or happened a few years ago, or um, last year, or the years prior to this. Whatever happened, I'm truly sorry. From the dark depth of my heart, I am actually sorry for whatever's happening to you. If you ever see this video and you feel like okay, I'm in the need of some good words, the good words is if something bad happened to you, keep pushing. Don't go off and harm yourself because that would be no good. You wouldn't be good to people. Like me, I have a lot of issues. I have a lot of issues, but yet I'm still trying to be a good person to those who need it, to those who can actually contain themselves, and to those who are on the verge of committing suicide. I'm trying to be a good person for them to see that I've tried it a couple times actually. I've tried it. Even when I was in prison, I've tried it. Why? Because I saw no way out. My term in prison was a long term. And at the about the fifth year, it got even hectic because we was having riots. It seemed like every freaking minute was having a lot of riots. A lot of white boys wanted to harm a lot of black people. And a lot of brothers wanted to harm a lot of Mexicans and white boys. So it was really hard at that time. And so I thought, well, might as well take myself out of the situation, out of the equation. Luckily, I didn't. Luckily, I didn't do that. Why? Was because of the fact that that was about the same time I came back to Islam. I was about the same time. I needed to find a way out of my own head. And like I said, there's things that people know about me, and then there's things they understand why I'm such a militant type of person. I'm such a person who rather do than speak about it. I rather be harmful than talk about being harmful. That's just the way I am. If I tell you I'm gonna slap you, I'm not gonna slap you. Why would I? But if I don't say it and I slap you, you should know why I slapped you. Because you done something totally outrageous. If it was against the black community, if it wasn't against the black community, if it was against me, if it wasn't against me, you did something that was totally unforgivable. And I had to show you how you're supposed to act. So I had to smack you around a couple of times. Now, I prove to people I don't hit women. And how I do that is I don't hit women. You don't put if you saying, "Oh, I'm not going to slap a woman." I don't put my hands on women because that's a lot of cases. I've heard about that. Some of my lady friends they talk about it. No, there ain't no screwing around. I don't screw around with my lady friends, and they tell me how they relationship, how the man said he'll never hit her and end up hitting her and beating on her every day. And I said, well, he said that to get with you. People who say that is just to get with you, just to be around you. Sooner or later, they will forget about what they have said to you and they will start slapping you around. And it may just be a spare of the moment. The first time will be a spare of the moment. But you could tell if he actually does that, because that wouldn't be just that one time. He probably wanted to for a while. And this is the reason, like I said, if a black woman, especially a black woman, because when they get hit, them and Mexican ladies, I've noticed this about is that when you get hit, when a man slaps you, y'all like to talk back. Stop doing that. I had to stop my friend, one of my homies, away from beating his woman down. I caught him one time about the heels, but he had her against the counter, choking the life out of her. I had to pull him off of her. And I didn't kill him because he was my boy. That's my boy. That's one of the homies. I ain't gonna do that. You see the color that I'm wearing? That's what I used to bang. Well, not used to, because technically there's no out when you join the gang. There's no way out. So that's what I am. I represent that color all the time. And I'll tell you, yeah, I'm a blood, but I'm a Muslim as well. And being coming from a gang, being a Muslim means so more to me than being what I was. Being a blood, having that knowledge of how to organize something, how to do stuff. I've learned a lot of when I was in prison. I read a lot of books about organizations, about how to form an organization, how to do it the correct way without the government insight. Or I know the government watchful eye will be on you. Hell, they watching me right now. So I know that. I'm not ashamed to say it or afraid to say it. I know the government is watching me, but it's the point that people want to make. It's the point that people are crazy about. Now, you you may be sitting at home looking at all the bills that you have, and you may go out of your mind a little bit. You may want to pick up a bottle and start drinking. You may want to pick up some drugs and start using. Like my family, you may want to do a bunch of weed. I don't understand it, but nevertheless, that's your drug of choice. That's what you do. And yes, weed is a drug. Once it turns from a plant, once you put chemicals in it, it goes from being a plant to a drug. Just to let everybody know. It goes from a plant to a drug. But once you do that, and you may want to do all that, but don't do that. Don't do it at all. If you're really about to flip, lose your marbles, go a little bit crazy, do not, um, don't go that much. Because if you're close to doing so, then you wouldn't know the choices that you've made. You would not know the people that you will look at later on in life. You may have a kid, you may have a woman, or a woman have a man that you may love dearly. You don't want to screw that up for nothing in the world. Trust me, there's a lot of relationships I should have kept being in, but I did not. There's like I say to everybody all the time, even on Facebook, there's a woman that I want so badly, but I can't have. There's a woman that I want so badly, but I can't have. I cannot have her. The simple fact is the reason why I cannot have her is the reason that she's with somebody. Plus, I'm not that type of person to push up on her. I'm not that. If a woman is with somebody and you know darn well you love the crap out of her and you want her so much, and you're not the type of person to really go up to her and be like, hey, you know what? This is what I want. This is what I need. No, because it's not what you want. It's what you need, but it's not what you want. You don't want to be that type of person to force yourself or force a relationship with somebody who's technically either they out of a relationship, they just got broken up with that person, or they're about or they still in a relationship. You don't want to be in that be the third wheel of that relationship. You don't want to be that person for that person to turn around and be like, I need you tonight, I need you right now, but then they'll go back to their boyfriend or girlfriend in a couple of days and be with them, and then they'll shun you like you ain't never existed. They ain't never happened to me. I ain't never been part of that, but I know that that does happen. And just like how marriages is, how marriage fall apart sometimes is because either the husband or wife cheats. The wife cheats because the husband isn't showing enough feelings. That's literally the term of reason why wife cheats. I mean, I don't know about nowadays, but that was the term of reason why women in marriages used to cheat. They feel that I'm not getting enough love at home. They probably fell out of love with their husbands because either they argue too freaking much, they don't speak at all with them. They don't even sleep in the same bedroom with their husbands or wives, husbands. And so they fall out of love with the person. And then whoever's in front of them, making them feel more appreciated, more beautiful, saying all type of things to them, being the person that they fell in love with the other person, being that. And but it never worked. It doesn't really work out because as one always says, if you cheat on somebody, you may find that person, that right person, but something in that relationship will go wrong. If you fall in love with the person that you're cheating on your spouse with, or if you're in a relationship and you're calling yourself girlfriend and boyfriend, so if you're cheating on your girlfriend or cheating on your boyfriend with somebody, something in that relationship will go wrong once you out of that relationship. I've seen plenty of videos about it. This dude made a hidden camera about him leaving his woman for the other woman. And then the other woman, because the other woman was doing better than the other woman, was doing something. But she was only doing that for him at that time. Once it becomes a relationship with that woman, the other woman, she stops doing what she's doing for him at that time. When y'all first get it's crazy because when y'all first get in a relationship, whatever you do for that person, you do for them because y'all just starting off. Once y'all in the relationship for amount of a good time, then you stop. It's like a year go by, 2 years go by, three. That's why I always tell a woman when I first meet her, show me the real you first off. So I'll know if I want to be in this relationship with you or don't. If I want to be with you or do I want to walk away from you? Now, I know this woman that I'm talking about, I know her because I've been around her and she acts her true self around me. So I know that if me and her in a relationship, I know what to expect from her. I hate fakeness from a person. I really do. I don't like fakeness. That's why if you show me who you are first, instead of gradually over months, a year, maybe gradually show me who you are, then I will look back and think about, well, hell, you said this, this, and this when we first started, but now you're saying this, this, and this. So you was fake around me. When we first began, you want to be fake, and then when we are where we are now you want to show me the real you. That's why I'd rather have a woman be herself around me when we first start. Be yourself. Just be your true, honest self. Hell, even if you want to cuss, do whatever, that's who you are. Don't show me who you are later in life. Be yourself who you are when you see me. Don't be yourself down the line. That's really what it's about. It's about the person wanting, like me. I want to see the real you. So I make my decision. So I can make my decision whether to be with you or to be without you. I can make my decision. But if I see the real you later on in the relationship, that's gonna make me hate the person that you are later on in the line. That's why I've always been like, if you show me the real you, I would truly love the real you. But if you show me the fakeness and I begin to love the fakeness, and then you show me the real you, I would hate you for the rest of your life. I would hate you for everything you are. Now, I have destroyed relationships. I've been in relationships where I have set the woman on a whole bazonker. I set a woman on a whole bazonk trip, and she never returned. I've turned women out. I have literally had women stop messing with men because of me. I've done that. Or women are messing with this certain woman I was with is messing with another woman now. It's funny. And I was the last one she ever touched. And she has never touched another man after me. That's the coldest thing you can ever hear was a woman that is, when I met her, I seen her girlfriend and I was like, wow, so you're going out with a woman now? You know? So I was the last man she ever touched. The last one. That goes to show you what a man can do to a woman. A man can mess a woman up mentally, not just physically, mentally. We can get into it, especially if they love you a whole lot. A man can mess a woman up just off of that alone. Being who he is, and that will mess her up a lot. And yet, we don't understand that. We don't get that. We don't fully get that. Men, we definitely don't fully get that. I get it, but the next man probably won't never get that. He probably won't ever understand how messed up he truly made her until he goes to prison. Then he thinks about all the fudged up stuff he ever done and about that one woman who truly had his back, but not anymore. She wouldn't have his back anymore. It's like there was this one woman. Reason why I brought this to you, it was this one woman that truly had my back. Something was said, and I went off of what was said. I didn't ask her anything. It was just that was said, and I couldn't deal with it. So it was a couple months, and I got with another woman. But being with that other woman, I went through ups and downs, and plus, it was some crazy shit going on with me and her family, and stuff turned out the way it turned out. But that woman was pretty much the best of me, the best thing that I had. And I couldn't take it because of the fact that my mind at that stage was very, very crazy. I had a lot of thoughts and I wanted to do my thoughts. I wanted to be that gangster. I wanted to represent Bloods like a mug. I really wanted to be, I was really in that gangbang life. And if you test me, it was over for you and your family. I was really that dangerous. And I didn't care back then. I didn't give a damn. I went to juvie and everything, fought with Crips and everything. I was really that crazy. I was in Sacramento, Sacramento Assessment Center. I was in Sacramento. It was right around the corner from Juvenile, from Sacramento Juvenile Hall. And I fought Crips up in there. I was in Sacramento Juvenile Hall where I fought Crips. And I fought people talking about Stockton. So I've been in places where people don't were in certain cities where they don't like the other city. I've been in places where people don't like you just for the fact that you or the color of your skin, and not fought them. And not most of the time, like I was in this one group home where I bashed the kid face in with a piece of a vacuum cleaner. I beat his face in. Why? Because he didn't like black folks. He was a white boy who didn't like black folks, and I beat his face in. It was a group home, and I beat his face in. I needed to be angry. I needed to get angry at him. So I pushed him to be angry with me, to say something racial to me. And I had my reason. I had a good reason, good enough reason to bash his face in. I gave him stitches going across his face. I did that. I screwed that kid up. The kid is got a wife now. And to bring out the most of it, the kid, he has a wife, a black wife. So I changed his life, not only fucking his life up, but I changed it too. I changed his life. And the only reason why I do things is if I cannot change you, I will show you the change. That's the way I used to be. If I couldn't change you, like just verbally change your mindset, if we ever got in a fight, I'm gonna change you. Physically, mentally, I was that person. So when people talk about their mental problems, trust me, I have a lot. I have a whole a whole garage full of demons that I could let go. I have pushed it down, deep, deep, deep down part of me that's darker than what anybody has ever seen before. And one thing I always thought of and I always wanted was to show the world the true me. This is the true me, no longer fake. When I was gang banging, when I was doing all that stuff, I was fake. I felt it that I wasn't living up to my potential. I wasn't living up to who I wanted to be. Then when I entered Islam, I had to release that fakeness. I gave all that up. I'm a good rapper. I gave that up. I can play the guitar real good. I gave that up. And so I stopped doing most of the stuff that I used to do and became just this hermit. I don't like being around people. I really don't. Even back then I didn't even like it. But I did because I wanted to be one of the guys. I wanted to show something. I have never ran a train on a woman. Don't No, I'm not gonna screw a woman after another man screwed her. Just not gonna be me. I couldn't do it. Plus, the I've hearing a lot of stories of guys getting rape put on them, so I wasn't good with that. That wasn't one of my things. I couldn't do it. I couldn't rape a woman. That wasn't one of my things. I can't do that. I would never put harm to a woman. And the reason is because a woman birthed me. Why would I want to put harm to a woman? Why would I want to? That would be the stupidest thing. If your mother's a woman, now you could be a kid with two dads. That's, and I'm not saying your mother have another husband. No, I'm saying that your father has another man, which is, oh, ugh. But to me, each his own, right? I don't understand it. I would never understand it, but you have that in your family. Now, like I said, I would never want to hurt a woman. I couldn't do it. I really could not be that type of person to put my hands on a woman. Now, don't get me wrong. I've done it. I've slapped the living hell out of a woman. No, not sitting there just steadily beating on a woman. No, women has tested me. Trust me, women has tested me and tried one. My sister, best example, my sister went for my neck, literally went for my neck, and I turned and hit her, accidentally hit her in the jaw, busted her lip right after I got in a fight with a boyfriend. But never, well, at the time, her boyfriend. But nevertheless, that happened. Now, that was because my sister went for my neck. It's like I always say, I'll allow a woman to hit me. You can hit me, but just leave my neck alone. Don't go for my neck. You go for my neck, it's like you're trying to kill me. And then I'm gonna have to do something to you. Nowadays, it's like I would get in an argument with a woman, and it's been tested and proven. I got in a cold argument with the lady I was telling y'all about. I got in a good argument with her, and I really didn't argue. I just sat there and looked at her and walked off. I walked off and took a breather because I'm not going to be the man who put his hands on a woman. I'm just not going to be that. I'm not going to show because my niece and nephews at that place, and I wasn't going to show them the darkness of me. I can't show the little ones, the little generation, the next generations, the darkness that lies in my heart. And my heart got, it's like, it's a whole thing full of black and only got a little bit of light in it. And I'm trying to hold on to that light as much as possible because if I start showing the darkness that's in me, things will start going wrong. And I don't want nothing to start going bad because of the fact that I want to show people the good of me, not the bad parts of me. I'll talk about the bad parts of me, but letting you see me as I am actually am, that's I could talk about it a lot, but unless you know me personally, not even the ones that grew up with me, my own sister, she grew up with me. She knows the real me. She doesn't know the real me. She ain't never seen the real me. The real me is a calm, cool, and collective type of person who's a strategist, who can really harm you if he really wanted to. I can harm people without even putting my hands on them. I don't want to. I don't want bloodshed in the world. Not yet. Not yet. And that's the difference between me and other people. I can't conceive why is there pain in the world, but I understand why there's pain in the world. And I understand what the reason for that pain. And I will bow down to God because God is the only thing that keeps me sane. Because without Him, it wouldn't be, I wouldn't give a damn. I'll shoot you in your face before I even talk to you. That's the way I used to think. When people used to talk to me, I used to just sit there and think about punching them in the jaw, just laying them down real quick and just shoot them. Because always kept a pistol on me. Every time I was in the car with my sister, I had a gun on me. I had one. I was gonna. I'm planning on doing some horrible things, but you know, and no, I'm not planning on doing some horrible things. It's just retarded. It's just stupid. But I used to have weapons. I had a little deuce. I had that. Always kept it on me. Always. Even though it was a two shooter. Even though it shot one, it was a Dillinger. Even though it shot one bullet came out of it. It was it was nice to shoot. It was good. I love that the weapon. There was a revolver. I had one. I had it was a silver deuce revolver. I had there was a shotgun or a rifle, a mini Mac 10. I had a lot of weapons. I had a box of grenades. Man, those were the weapons. But I don't have not a weapon in this house. Not one. Why? Because I wouldn't have a weapon on me now because I know how dangerous and how my mind is. So I wouldn't want to keep a gun on me. No, I wouldn't kill myself, but I'll harm people. And that is the one thing about me. When I was in prison, I was off the chain. Then I became 5 years passed. Onto that 6 year, I changed and I started changing after that. I stopped doing what I was doing. I put away, there's a passage in the Bible. It's like I said before. There's a passage that said, as a child, I thought like a child. I spoke like a child. But when I became a man, I did man things. Like I stopped being a kid. I stopped acting like a child because that's what I was. My father turned me and beat me to the point to where my mindset, I always thought like a kid. And then when I became a Muslim, I started acting like a Muslim. I started preaching like a Muslim and I started doing Islamic things. That is because I hated myself. Allah showed me how to love myself, how to officially, emotionally break down my walls and start to love myself. So I pushed the demon back in my head and was like, gotta lock you up. It's kind of a thing that I did. And ever since then, I've been myself. I have never truly been myself. I've always was an actor, always acted out things. Before I do anything, I always say, well, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to do. Never really go as planned, but I'm still always have to act in front of people. But I'm a little bit tired, so I'm going to let people go. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين قل هو له أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وعسى إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. والله